Welcome to part 2 of When Did the Medieval Ages Begin? Today, I want to talk about a specific passage from the book Mohammed and Charlemagne by Henri Pirenne. And that passage is found, if anyone wants to look it up, on page 60, 62, somewhere there. It's called Justinian. And so the idea that Pirenne is trying to argue is that the medieval ages did not begin with the invasion of the Germanic tribes, which started somewhere around 300 CE-ish. And by this point in the 6th century, so 500 CE, that period, the barbarians or Germanic tribes have started the Germanic kingdoms. And by this point, we've passed the 476 CE time frame when the medieval ages normally start and the ancient era ends. But he doesn't agree. And his beginning arguments have to deal with the fact that the Germanic tribes do not change the political or economic culture of the Roman Mediterranean world. In fact, do they not change it, they actually adapt to it. They change and join it. So this is what he says in this area. So he says, and I quote, "There could be no greater mistake than to suppose that the idea of the empire disappeared after this dismemberment of the western provinces by the barbarians." He continues, talks about some other stuff, and says, talking about Justinian, he no longer governed those provinces, but he still reigned. And then the last quote I want to do is, with the exception of the king of the Vandals, the barbarian kings regarded him, Justinian, as their master, striking his effigy on their coins, and they solicited and obtained titles and favors from him. Justinian adopted Theodebert, as Maurice afterwards adopted Childebert. End quote. And so what we see from that, and what Pirenne is trying to argue, is that the Germanic kings, while seeing them as rexes, almost actually acted as governors. So while there was no longer a Western empire, there was there was a Western provinces under the heavy influence and within the same political and economic structure of the Eastern Empire. So in his argument, while some things did change, again, not a lot actually was changed. That's a very interesting thought. If you agree, I would love you to put a thumbs up if you agree with this